Hey, welcome to a new weekly video. This video is a part of my The Great Lock-In Spiritual Journey Edition, which is a series that I am doing here that is going to be slightly different from my normal weekly mom vlogs that I'm doing. So if you are returning, welcome back. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Dr. Kiera. I am a millennial, a mother of two, a wife, a licensed mental health therapist, a healer, and an educator. And I am spending the last part of this year into the beginning of the new year locking in on re-engaging in my spiritual journey. I did a intro video last week leading up to this video, just giving you some notes and some pointers about how I am re-establishing my spiritual journey, how I am locking in not only on my personal spiritual journey, but also the medicine that I offer my clients as a therapist. So if you have not watched that video, make sure you watch it after this one, just so you can get caught up. If not, this is going to definitely set the stage for how the rest of these videos are going to be looking like, because tonight was night one of my apprenticeship that I was telling you about. So I am going to be, well, first of all, as you can see, I'm in the bathroom. This is probably just going to be our meeting spot because the bathroom is the only place I can hide from my kids. So get used to this environment, because if you're a mama, you already know sometimes the bathroom is our safe haven. So that's where we're going to be doing our weekly recaps. So welcome home. Okay, so I am working from 3 journals and I am going to be doing a recap of how this week looked for me with my lock-in with the spiritual journey that I'm on. Again, not just for myself personally, but also the medicine and the service that I'm offering my clients. But first things first, I want to check in with you as well as check in with myself to see if we are on track with those non-negotiables that we set. If you didn't check out the first video, it's okay. I'm going to reiterate these now. And I'm going to just do a live check-in with myself as you as my accountability partner. So I said that I was going to wake up at 5 a.m. I did that. I said that I was going to meditate. Check. Movement. Check. Journaling. Check. Starting my day off with tea as the first thing I ingest. Check. Reading something. Check. Tend to my spiritual environment. Check. Drink water. Check. Oh, take my weekly bath. I have not done that yet, but I will. And not check in social media when I first wake up or before I go to bed, and only check in social media once per day, midday. Check. And I feel so good about that. Okay. Now that we have our accountability check-in, I want to talk to you about how tonight went. So that's my check-in journal. I have my somatic trauma therapist journal here, and then I have my spiritual journal here. So again, as I mentioned in the previous video to this series of The Great Lock-In, the Spiritual Journey Edition, I shared that I am a part of a spiritual apprenticeship with my life coach and spiritual teacher. I also shared that in addition to being a mom, a wife, and a therapist, I'm also a Reiki master, a certified yoga instructor, sound healer, human design reader, and I'm also initiated in Ifa, which is a Afro-based spirituality practice. So I shared that in the previous video. Again, after this one, you can get caught up if you missed that one. So I want to go over some things that showed up. I'm holding my spiritual journey book, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with some things that showed up for me tonight and some reflections that I had. The first thing that showed up for me, my teacher shared that, being called into this space, that everyone that was present is a cycle breaker. And that really sat with me. She talked about being the black sheep of your family, being the odd one, the edgy one, the rebellious one, and the rule breaker. And that all of those things sat with me so deeply because all of those are very true to me. We started off the group with going around in a circle and sharing our name, what service we provide, and where our ancestral lineage is from. And I initially felt very, I don't want to say embarrassed. I felt very disconnected. So majority of the women on the call were either from Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic. There was one lady from that had Haitian lineage. And then there was me, an African American. And I shared with the group that I liked this question, though it made me feel, I don't know, I'm having a hard time putting words to my feelings. I don't know why embarrassed it keeps showing up. So I'm just going to identify it as embarrassed because as I shared with the group, I feel like slavery did a great job of having Black Americans not know where they come from. So just being able to hear like people share like, oh, my mom's Dominican, oh, my dad's Puerto Rican, oh, you know, we're Haitian. Like they were so quickly able to trace their lineage and know where they come from. And I was not, as the only Black American or African American on the call and in the group. I was like, damn, like we really don't know where we come from for real. So I just shared with the group that years ago I did like a ancestry.com thing, and I found that majority of my lineage was in Cameroon, Africa. And I know I have a lot of family like in the Carolinas, so perhaps that's where the slave ship took them, maybe. I also shared that before my after my maternal grandfather passed away, I remember going through some of his things and I found a folder where he was actually trying to like manually trace our lineage. And the farthest he got before he passed away was Barbados. So I shared that with the group, and that's just something that I've always held near and dear to my heart. And I've always told myself that one day I will like complete his research. I almost felt like he like left that golden nugget for me to find and be able to complete, you know, just really figuring out where our bloodline truly comes from. So that stood out to me really heavily, you know, just being connected to your ancestors, being connected to your bloodline, being connected to your roots and where you come from. And I don't want to speak to or speak for all Black Americans or African Americans, but I feel confident in saying a lot of us have no clue where our lineage is. And that was the whole point. Like, that's what they wanted. They wanted us to forget where we came from. They wanted us to forget our native tongue and just our rituals. They wanted to strip that from us, and they did an awesome job at it. So that showed up for me there. Something else that showed up for me, we did a meditation, and I won't share what was shared during the meditation. I'll keep that sacred and keep integrity there. However, I will share what showed up for me during the meditation. And it was Black people, Black women, Black mothers. And what showed up it almost looked like during the meditation like a triangle going downward. And it started with Black people, Black women, and then it ended with Black mothers. And the message that came to me after the meditation when I narrowed it down to Black mothers is they have forgotten. And when I came out of the meditation, I literally drew the visual of what I saw. I drew that visual out and I wrote the statement, they have forgotten. And I started journaling a little bit more about what have specifically Black mothers forgotten? And 3 lines that I wrote, or some experiences that they have, is religious trauma, disconnection from self, and that they are the anchor and backbone for their family. And I feel like that holds so true for Black mothers. Again, I won't speak for all Black mothers or Black people, but there are some, I've connected with them, that have a lot of religious trauma. They feel disconnected from their self. They might be practicing Christianity because, you know, their mother or parents, grandparents, whoever practice it, but they feel disconnected from it for some reason. And they almost feel guilty about questioning that because, you know, that's of the devil. Like, that's what they were taught, right? But they feel deep down on a soul level a disconnection from it, and that they are the anchor and the backbone. The Black mother is the anchor in the backbone of their family. So that showed up for me as well. Something else that I want to share with you from my notes that I wrote down that my teacher said was that being a healer is an embodiment practice, not a certification. And that really stuck out to me as somebody who's like highly educated, PhD. I love learning. I love getting certifications. I mean, it's actually a part of my license as a therapist. I have to get CEUs, which are continuing education credits. So by license, like, I have to keep learning and growing and getting certified in different things. But I knew what she meant by that, that being a healer is an embodiment practice and not a certification. And what showed up for me in that statement was that some people in healing spaces and spiritual spaces really pride themselves on collecting things. Like, let me get certified in this, or let me register for this thing. They're just collecting these things, but they aren't living it. They aren't embodying what it means to be a healer. And that really stuck out to me. And she talked about like the integrity versus spiritual ego. And this is honestly one of the reasons why I got off social media when I did, because me being a therapist, me being a healer, I would have, of course, attract, and, you know, the algorithm and stuff would match me, and, you know, I would communicate with other people that are, you know, in the healing space. And it was so performative. Like, you could, well, I'll just say me, I could easily see folks that were not embodying the practice. And something that stood out to me, and I actually wrote it down, was that she shared, where was it? She shared, how do you show up as the healed version of yourself? I wrote that down because that stuck out to me. We are all healing. Like, it's my personal belief that if you are still alive and you are still breathing on this earth, there is something for you to learn. There's a, you know, a space for you to grow, a space for you to heal. But when you're working with other people and you're holding space for people, how do you show up as the healed version of yourself? And I think that really differentiates. I'm sorry, I'm tired. That really differentiates practitioners from each other. Like, some people are really working with their clients from their ego or from their shadow or from their unhealed space. So I love that question. How do you show up as the healed version of yourself? That really stood out to me. So becoming a practitioner of the healed version of you was so beautiful. Y'all, I am so excited about this apprenticeship. It is 8 of us, 8 beautiful women of color. I'm so excited about connecting. I found out tonight that we're actually going to have some in-person meetings. So I'm definitely going to be vlogging out on that. I'm going to be taking my camera with me. We are hitting the road. We are traveling. I'm so excited. So you'll probably still see my bathroom for a little bit until it's time to travel. And I can't wait to just share with you all that journey. Being in person is just different from being in a virtual space. And this is coming from someone who connects with clients virtually and in person. And there's just something different about that in-person connection. So I'm so excited to be offered the opportunity to connect with my teacher and the rest of my cohort in person. So I'm definitely going to be taking you along with me for that journey. Okay, let me flip through my notes really quick on the spiritual side to see, I have to tell you all what showed up for me on this part. We talked about some of our ancestral gifts, and then we talked about what ancestral pattern from our lineage needs healing through us. Y'all, guess what showed up for me? So I told you It was Black people, Black women, and then it narrowed down to Black mothers in that first meditation, right? Well, with this exercise, the ancestral pattern from my lineage that needs to be healed through me is the mother wound. Wound, like a wound soldier, not womb, like birth canal. The mother wound. And what I'm not going to do is share other people's stories, though other people's stories are part of my story. But I'll just share that my mother has a history with her mother, and there's some unhealed wounds there. And then on my father's side, his mother has, well, my great grandmother has passed away now, but his mother had some history with her mother, right? And me and my mom have some history. And here I am with 2 daughters. You can't make this stuff up. Like, that is what I am supposed to heal in this walk of life, is healing that mother wound. And then also helping the mothers I work with heal their mother wounds. And so this is just going to be, y'all, when I tell y'all this is about to be some beautiful work. And that's another thing, and I'll end on this, that we talked about tonight, is in order to hold space and help other people heal, you have to first offer yourself your own medicine. And that's the whole point of this group, is to connect with the medicine that's within you, because we all carry our special gifts and our medicine. But before we can offer it to the world or to others, we have to give ourselves a dose. Like, we have to give it to ourselves. And I just want to pat my own self on the back, because I'm so proud of myself for continuing my spiritual journey that I started 8+ years ago. Like, it just goes to show, like, the journey continues, and the stronger that I get spiritually, the stronger I am for my clients, the stronger I am for my children, the stronger I am for my husband, the stronger I am developing myself to be, because one day I might be a grandmother. Like, I'm just so proud of myself for being the cycle breaker, the black sheep, the odd one, the one that's misunderstood, the rule breaker. Like, I am honored to be that for my lineage. Okay, so we're gonna close out our spiritual book, because I can go on all day about the insights that happen. And we're meeting again next week, so I'll be sure to come back and do a reflection on the marvelous things that's going to come out of next week. But now let's get into the somatic psychotherapy certification insights that came through this week during my class. So this was the first week in my certification class, and we talked about just the foundations of somatic psychotherapy. And we talked about, like, what is somatic psychology, which in the simplest forms, it's just body orientation. It's getting the body into the space. So when you think about therapy, most people, when they think about a therapist, it's like, oh, I'm gonna go to this office and sit on the couch and, like, just talk to this person, right? So that's like your talk therapy. However, somatic psychology gets into the body, right? Because the body is our historian. Our body holds so much information that honestly sometimes our mind forgets. Our body never forgets anything. So that is the foundation. That is somatic psychology. It's getting the body oriented into the space. And we talked about how this somatic psychotherapy allows you to experience the body in the present moment. So sometimes in talk therapy, your therapist might take you through a journey of, like, the past. And it's like, oh, well, how did that make you feel? Or, you know, they're taking you to a past moment. Well, what were you thinking during that time? However, somatic psychology focuses on the body's experience in the present. And a quote that I wrote down, or a question that I wrote down that I would ask my client is, when you recall that experience, what sensation are you having now, right? So say I'm speaking with a mother, and we're talking about her traumatic birthing experience. Maybe she had a traumatic labor and delivery. I won't ask her, oh, wow, what were you thinking then? What was going through your mind at that point? You know, what was your body doing? No, I'm going to ask her, when you recall that experience right now today, what sensation is your body currently having in this moment? Which I love because it brings you back, because her body wouldn't have forgotten. She might have forgot what she was thinking, right? She might have forgot what she was feeling. However, when you are recalling that moment right now, what is it that you're experiencing? What sensation are you having right now in the present moment? Love it. Phenomenal. Love it, love it, love it. But yeah, so again, today was just, or this week rather, was just a foundational week. We talked about how healing happens in the here and now, in the present moment. And that really had me think about the work that I do as a Reiki master with my Reiki clients. When I'm doing hands-on Reiki, a lot of times I can feel the energy radiating from the different chakra areas around previous things that have happened in the past, yet it's showing up in their body today. So that brought me right back. I'm like, I've been doing this work. Like, I have been doing somatic psychology with my clients for years. But yeah, it was just good to be able to hear that, like, okay, like this is what the textbooks call it, or, you know, this is the name for it, right? Though I have been experiencing this with my clients for years. And also, as a Reiki master, I have several Reiki students. So I teach other people how to perform Reiki. And that's something that I remind them of, is that, you know, when you're working with your clients in Reiki, when you're working along their body and working with their chakra areas, you can potentially in the moment feel some things that they have been carrying for years. Another thing that showed up was parenting, and just how lately with my 8-year-old, I have been really working with her around emotional regulation. She's been having very big feelings. She's 8, so we're like tween age. She's not a teen, she's not a preteen, but she's like getting there. So she's having these big feelings and these emotions, and this just reminded me as a parent, like, how can we teach our children emotional regulation? And deeper, what I wrote down is, how can we as mothers become more aware of our child's emotions, and just get more connected with them? So in a moment where she's having a meltdown, I can ask her, like, what sensations are you having? Where in your body are you feeling where in your body are you having this experience? Like, using that somatic psychology even as a mother with trying to help my child to regulate her emotions. That was like a big one for me. I'm like, ooh, this came right on time as a reminder as she's like going through her emotional phase of life. And then for me personally, it had me think about myself, like, well, how can I regulate my own stress? Because I am easily overstimulated. Like, I am so overstimulated like 99% of the time. So it has me thinking, how can I use somatic psychology for myself to help myself regulate my own stress and overstimulation? And just this brought me back to Reiki level 1. Before I became a Reiki master and I was Reiki level 1, of how can I use Reiki for myself? Like, again, how can I use my medicine for me? So, all right, that was it for the somatic psychology certification part. So that is my weekly reflection. I will be back next week with some more reflections. If there's anything that stood out to you that I shared, please leave it in the comments. If you have enjoyed this video, or maybe even the video before leading up to this Great Lock-In Spiritual Journey Edition, make sure you subscribe to my channel, turn your post notifications on. I'll be doing these weekly as well as my normal mom vlogs weekly as well, so you'll get a double dose of me. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share this with another mom, maybe a therapist, friend, or family member that you might know, and come along with me on this great lock-in journey. It's not too late to join. I don't care if you're seeing this video in 2028. Jump in, join where I am, and let's go through this journey together. And until next time, be well, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you so much for coming along this journey with me. Be well.